And a former chief of logistics and spokesperson, headquarters, Nigerian Air Force, and also a former defense attaché to Russia, Air Vice Marshal Olatokunbo Adesanya, joins me now to further clear the air on the aviation protocol for such landing. You're welcome to the Network News.
Thank you very much.
All right, now, as the Air Force already explained in that statement, this was an unplanned emergency landing. Now, what is the protocol when an aircraft experiences technical distress mid-air?
The protocol in such situations is usually straightforward, even though no one really plans or expects that it will come. The first thing is to declare emergency. That the pilot declares an emergency by transmitting what we call a distress call. There are two types of distress calls, depending on whether the situation is immediately life-threatening or whether it is urgent but not immediately life-threatening. The moment that declaration of emergency is done, it overrides every other regulatory restrictions in terms of overflight clearance and landing permits. So what follows immediately after this is the request by the pilot to the air traffic controllers. In this case, he is going to request them to vector him or to direct him to the nearest safe landing place. And before doing this, of course, he will have also told them the nature of the emergency. When he is transmitting, he will let them know the nature of the emergency. He will identify the aircraft type, among others. And upon landing, the next thing is to comply fully with the instructions of the host nation while maintaining or respecting their sovereignty. Nevertheless, he also has certain respects due to him as granted by customary international laws. So it is at this point that what we call post-landing protocols then commence, which will be mostly in form of diplomatic talks between the host nation and, of course, the owners of the aircraft, in this case, the Nigerian government.
All right, AVM Adesanya, in your observation, was there any incursion or aggression maneuver that suggested an airspace violation, and what should we be doing now?
To make it very clear, the C-130 aircraft that was used in this case is a transport aircraft, and the Nigerian version of the C-130 aircraft is only used and designed for airlift. It does not in any way carry any ammunition that is unable to deliver weapons. So certainly it's not a fighter aircraft. However, what could be deemed as aggression in this case is probably the fact that there was no previous maybe overflight clearance or landing permit that was secured. And I believe this is because this place, that is Burkina Faso, was not the originally planned destination. From the information available to me, the C-130 aircraft was going on a ferry flight to Portugal, having been due for a depot-level maintenance. It is a ferry flight, which means it's not the normal flight that you can just fly straight, depending on the exact condition of the aircraft. I would imagine that they must have planned stops along the way, but certainly not one in Burkina Faso. If not, they would have obtained that clearance. While I was Nigeria's defense advisor in Moscow, on any occasion that the Nigerian Air Force had to fly to any country which I was covering, they always made a request, and I always sought and obtained those permissions. So possibly what the Burkina government in this case saw as aggression or violation of the airspace is the fact that possibly there was no permission granted before then. But like I did say, once there is an emergency, the pilot in command has what we call emergency authority, because the primacy is about the safety of lives and equipment, in this case, aircraft. We had 11 souls on board, of course, with wives and with children back home. So the primary thing is their safety, and international protocols recognize it that irrespective of whether clearance was obtained before then or not, they are allowed to land.
All right. Many thanks, former Chief of Logistics and spokesman, Headquarters Nigerian Air Force, and also a former Defence Attaché to Russia, Air Vice Marshal Olatokunbo Adesanya, for your inputs on the network news.